What's up, folks, and welcome to Math Walkthroughs with Mr. Weeb. Today we are using mental strategies to add and subtract decimals in our Lesson 1 Your Turn questions. Let's see what that first question is. It says, describe how to use mental math to calculate. Well, this first one, I'm looking at it and I see that 3.998, or 3 and 998 thousandths, is very close to 4. So I'm just going to write down what I'm going to do in my head. I would do this mentally, but the method is I would add 4 instead of 3.998. I think you'll agree that that's easier to do. So 4 plus 4 is 8, and then I still have 526. Now this isn't entirely correct, right? I added too much. So now all I have to do is now I just have to take away that amount that I added that was too much. So I have to subtract 0.002, or 2 thousandths. And when I do that, I get 8.524. And I'm going to put a rectangle around my answer to show that that is my final answer. To show you how this works on a number line, I'll just illustrate very briefly up here on this open number line. We started at 4.526, and then they wanted us to add 4. So here we go. We added 4, and we got to 8.526. But we went too far, right? So that's why we had to subtract that. We had to subtract 0.002, which got us to that final destination of 8.524. That was our final destination. Next, I have 2.4 plus 6 and 58 hundredths. With this one, I don't need to do much because I'm noticing that the 2 and the 6 are easy enough to add together, and the 4/10 and 5/10 are easy enough to add together, so I can just do it straight. I go 2 plus 6, which is 8, 4 plus 5, which is 9, and then I'm left with 8 after that. That's all that's necessary for that one. For C, I'm looking again and I see that 1.8 is close to 2. So I can change this in my head 2.356, and I'm going to subtract 2. So I'm left with 0.356. But I took away too much, so I need to add back on whatever I didn't take away. Or I took away too much, so I have to add that back on. So I'm going to add back on that 0.2, or 2/10, and I'm left with 0.556. And I put a rectangle around that to show that I'm done that one. And the last one for number 1, I can see again that 2.9 is very close to 3. So let's make this easier on ourselves and just change the question to an easier version of it. 7.1 minus 3 is going to be 4.1. Don't leave it there though, because you took away too much. So let's add back on that 1/10, and you'll end up with 4.2. And there it is. Describe a situation where you would add 4.29 and 5.18. I might say something like this. If I know that it's 4.29 kilometers from my house to the grocery store and 5.18 kilometers from the store to my grandparents' house, I could add them together and find out how far I went. Next it says, oh yes, and I should add, you are not allowed to copy from this. You have to find your own situation to write down in your own work. Here's another situation where you would subtract 4.2 from 8.179. And I might write something like this. If I removed 4.2 kilograms of rice from a package with 8.179 kilograms in it, I would subtract. Question 4 says, which result is different from all the others? Use mental math to decide. All right, I'm going to go through it real quick. Here, this is very close to 4. I'm going to write down my mental math processes. So instead of writing equals, I'm going to change it here to 4 plus 4.27. That's going to be 8.27. Then, knowing that I've added too much, I'm going to make a separate equation over here, 8.27 minus 0.02, and I'm left with 8.25. Okay, I'll do this in a different color just so that we don't get them mixed up. Here we have, I'm going to change this to 4.35 plus 4, because 3.9 is pretty close. So now we have 8.35. Now I'm going to take 8.35 and I'm going to subtract the 0.1 and we get 8.25. Oh look, it's the same answer as the first one. All right, how are we going to approach letter C? 10 minus 1.75. Well, I think we'll do this in parts. First, I'll take away the 1, and then I'll take away the 0.75. So, let's say I go 10, take away 1. We'll just separate it into parts, is 9. And then I'm going to go 9 minus 0.75, and that will be 8.25. Oh, and it's the same thing again. Let's do it one more time and see if we get the same answer. So 16 take away 8.25. I'm going to do it in parts again. 16 minus 8 is going to be 8. And then I take that 8 and I subtract 0.25. And I end up with 7.75, which is different from all the other ones. So it has to be D is the answer. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.